All right, while we set up, next talk is another CBI Fellow and postdoctoral researcher, Qiaosi Wang. She's a researcher at the Human-Computer Interaction Institute, and she works with professors Hong Chen and Professor Jody Forlisi. And her talk is titled Designing Responsible AI Through Mutual Theory of Mind.
Hi everyone, my name is Qiaosi. I am a CBI postdoc at the Human-Computer Interaction Institute. I just received my PhD degree from Georgia Tech in human-centered computing last year, and I started here at CMU in October. So today I'm really excited to share with you about my research on designing responsible AI through mutual theory of mind. So I want to start with a motivation, is that there are a bunch of new AI developments that are enabling AI systems to assume a wide variety of social roles in our society. So for example, robots are delivering food on the streets and at the restaurants. AI personal assistants are at our homes, assisting with daily tasks. And if you look closely, these AI systems are often equipped with very human-like characteristics and features to support their social functions. So for example, the delivery robots have these smiley, human-like faces, and the AI assistants communicate with us via natural language and human-like voices. And more recently, powerful AI models are enabling AI systems to assume more sophisticated social roles, such as tutors. And these cutting-edge AI technologies can communicate so smoothly and naturally with humans that some are claiming these AI systems have human-level social intelligence, that these AI systems have theory of mind. Well, what is theory of mind? Theory of mind is a basic social and cognitive human capability of attributing mental states to oneself and others based on behavioral or verbal cues. Theory of mind is different than mental models. Theory of mind is the idea of my theory of what's on one's mind. So this could include people's emotion, desire, perspectives, knowledge, intentions, or the ability to understand sarcasms or their beliefs, whereas mental model is about my theory of how things work. So these theory of mind understandings can facilitate many human-human communications. For example, we are teaching students based on knowledge attribution. Maybe if they're nodding, we know that they understood what we just taught them. Even in team planning, we attribute different intentions to people based on what they said, as well as like empathy. We attribute different emotions to our friends while we're talking to them and try to feel what they're feeling. And in fact, theory of mind is so fundamental to our social behaviors that many researchers view theory of mind as the key to human social intelligence. Researchers are increasingly equipping AI systems with these theory of mind-like capability to enhance their social adaptness while performing various social functions. For example, AI systems that can detect people's confusion about AI's behavior and provide explanations accordingly, or AI that can provide necessary information missing from humans' knowledge state to successfully complete certain tasks, or AI that can offer adaptive recommendations tailored to people's desire and preferences. And you can probably tell that these AI systems with theory of mind-like capability presents huge potential in drastically improving human-AI communications. However, deploying these AI systems that present human-level social behaviors in people's daily lives can lead to many consequences. For example, many people are turning to ChatGPT for advice during mental health crisis, treating ChatGPT as their therapist, or seeking romantic connection with chatbots as if they're real people, or people are viewing AI as more capable and threatening their jobs. And you probably have seen misleading headlines like this, trying to evoke AI fear by vastly exaggerating AI's capabilities. All of these presents real harms and risks of AI systems that are exhibiting similarly human-level social behaviors. And these harms and risks can all be traced back to one question that many of us are asking ourselves every day. is that how should I perceive this AI's role and capabilities? As AI systems continue to be equipped with human-like characteristics and exhibiting similarly human-like behaviors, managing and accounting for human perceptions of AI performing social functions is critical to design human-centered and responsible AI systems. So how can we do that? Let's take a look at human-human communication for inspirations. If we look at human-human communication, each party in the communication leverage their own theory of mind to constantly infer and respond to others' perceptions of them. Irving Goffman's seminal work on impression management is a great example of how we leverage mutual theory of mind during communications. So for example, if your supervisor overestimated your capability and thinks that you can finish certain tasks on your own, you'll be able to infer that from their behavioral or verbal cues and respond with, I need more help with this, to intentionally tune their perceptions of your capability. But in the current human-AI communication process, only humans engage with our theory of mind to make inferences about the AI's capability. We saw AI systems presenting human-like characteristics and beyond human capabilities, and we think that, oh, I should interact with it like how I interact with humans. Then we realized that no, it does not have human-level capabilities as we expected, and who can blame us when the AI is not giving us the feedback that we need to accurately perceive the AI systems? So the core of mutual theory of mind in human-human communication is this iterative communication that engages with each other's theory of mind. So the question is, how can we build mutual theory of mind in human-AI communication to account for people's perceptions of AI? So let's start by envisioning a communication dialogue from the lens of mutual theory of mind. And most of my PhD work took place in AI in online education, so I'll give you a quick example of that. So let's suppose that a student is introduced to an AI agent that can make her feel socially connected. The student might have the initial inaccurate expectation that the AI agent can be her friend. So she might ask, can you be my friend? What is your favorite color? If the AI agent had theory of mind-like capability, the AI agent could construct the student's perception of it as her friend based on the student's questions. And based on that, the AI can respond accordingly to tune students' inaccurate perceptions of the AI by saying, hi, I am only a machine, so that is beyond my capability. I can help connect you with other students. Would you like to meet Alex, who also likes hiking? And the human will then recognize the AI's interpretation of their social goals, which could be inaccurate. So the student can provide feedback to help the AI revise its previous interpretation of the human. And the student can say, how about students with similar career goals as me? The AI will make this revision in its knowledge and communicate this revision back to the human to provide more transparency in its working mechanism. Something like that. So by envisioning this ideal human-AI communication based on mutual theory of mind in human-human communication, we're able to create a mutual theory of mind framework for human-AI communication. So this framework breaks down the iterative human-AI communication process into 3 concrete and analyzable stages. Theory of mind construction, where the AI constructs the human's interpretation of the AI based on human's communication feedback. Theory of mind recognition, where the human recognizes the AI's interpretation of the human based on AI's communication feedback. And theory of mind revision, where the AI revises its previous interpretation of the human based on human feedback and communicates this revision back to the human. So each mutual theory of mind stage represents a theory of mind process of one party's communication feedback shaping and informing the other's interpretation of how they're perceived by others. And that is the same for the recognition and the revision stage. So following this mutual theory of mind framework, a lot of my work has been focused on conducting empirical studies for each of these stages. And today I want to briefly go over the first stage, theory of mind construction, to show you what kind of insights mutual theory of mind can provide in designing human AI interaction. So for theory of mind construction, the question I explored here is how can AI automatically construct people's perception of AI in human AI communication? Automatic construction of people's perception of AI is the core and the first step of mutual theory of mind. An AI system that can construct people's perceptions of AI can immediately recognize that the student might have inaccurate perception of the AI's role. If the student asks questions like this, what is the meaning of life? And if the AI can accurately construct students' perceptions, it will be able to respond accordingly, like this. I don't have any knowledge about the textbook or the class materials. I am not an AI tutor, which will provide personalized feedback to let the human know how to perceive the AI's role and capability. So in this study, we deployed an old version of an AI teaching assistant called Qiaosi to answer students' logistic questions about the class, such as what is the next assignment, what will the exam cover. And Qiaosi is a very simple AI chatbot that is knowledge-based and trained on class syllabus. And it is also community-facing, which means that all the interactions between each student is available and visible to all students. So this means that the community's perception of Qiaosi is constantly changing. So in this study, we explored two research questions. First, how does a community's perception of a community-facing AI agent change over time? And second, how do linguistic markers of human AI interaction reflect perceptions about the AI agent? So this study took place for an entire semester, 12 weeks, in an online class discussion forum where we deploy the AI agent to answer students' syllabus-related questions. And we then collected students' bi-weekly self-reported perceptions and conversations with the AI for further analysis. So the survey metrics were intentionally selected because they could capture students' holistic social perceptions of the AI, and the linguistic features have been suggested by prior literatures to be able to predict these perceptions. So what we found is that over the course of the semester, the AI's perceived anthropomorphism and intelligence significantly changed over time, but perceived likability did not significantly vary in the long run. And just as an additional detail, Qiaosi was never retrained or during any time of this semester. So to examine whether linguistic markers can predict communities' perception about the AI, we built linear regression models by using these linguistic features as independent variables and students' perceptions of the AI as dependent variables. What we found is that verbosity negatively associates with student perception of the AI, whereas readability, sentiment, diversity, and adaptability positively associate with anthropomorphism, intelligence, and likability. So the key takeaway from this study is that people's utterances to the AI actually contain valid social cues that can reflect their evolving perceptions of AI, such as how likable or how intelligent they think the AI is. And the design implication from this is that AI systems should leverage these social cues to construct and monitor humans' perceptions of AI during communications. So that is the first empirical study focusing on theory of mind constructions, but we also conducted empirical studies on theory of mind recognition, where we examine people's reactions and perceptions of AI after recognizing that the AI misinterpreted their personal traits, such as personality. And in theory of mind revision, we explored how AI self-revision and its communication of this revision process can mitigate people's negative perceptions of AI after recognizing AI's misinterpretation of them. And due to time constraint, I don't have much time to share the details of these two studies, but I'm happy to chat about them afterwards if you're interested. So that is my work so far on mutual theory of mind, focuses on iteratively aligning humans' interpretation of the AI and AI's interpretation of the human. But interpretation of each other is only one dimension of our mental states. As I mentioned in the beginning, theory of mind has many dimensions defined traditionally for human-human communications, such as emotion, perspectives, desire, knowledge, beliefs, etc. And misalignment of each other's mental states happen very frequently, even in normal human-human communication. The teachers don't always recognize whether the students understood the concept or not. Your teammates don't always know what you mean when you say certain things, and you don't always recognize your friend's emotions accurately. But as AI becomes more integrated into our everyday life, this kind of misalignment between AI applications and users could happen very frequently. And misalignment, so for example, an older adult standing up does not always mean the AI needs to help him with something, like bringing him water. Maybe the older adult just wants to stand up and walk around for a bit to feel independent. And misalignment can also happen to everyday users who are not familiar with certain AI applications. So for example, a pedestrian might wait for a self-driving car signal for them to safely cross, like how we often wait for the human drivers to wave their hand at us for us to cross the road safely. And without these signals from the autonomous driving car to the pedestrian, this could lead to unsafe crossing or abrupt stop, both of which are dangerous. And I don't know about you guys, but when I first interacted with LLMs, I really it, given how different it is from traditional user interfaces. So I really wish LLMs could recognize my struggle and my knowledge about how to interact with it and give me some feedback to guide me through this initial interaction process. So at CMU, what I have been working on is broadening the scope of the mutual theory of mind framework to include the various human mental states that could present in human AI interactions. So for the construction stage, the AI can construct humans' intentions, desires, and this is the same with theory of mind recognition and theory of mind revision. So this is, my work here has been focused on examining the power of this mutual theory of mind framework in designing AI applications that can align with humans' mental states. So this is a study that we have been working on is to really understand how can AI designers of user-facing applications leverage the concept of mutual theory of mind to enhance AI alignment to users' mental states in everyday AI applications. And what we're planning to do is co-design workshops with UX practitioners to envision theory of mind-enabled user-facing everyday AI applications to address the human-AI misalignment, like I mentioned in my previous slides. Another direction that we're exploring is also about theory of mind benchmark for large language models. So the current practice of measuring theory of mind in large language models is to use theory of mind tests designed for humans. So for example, false belief task that I show here, where showcase there are two girls, Sally and Anne. One of the girl left the room and Sally misplaced the ball into a different location, and after Anne come back from the room, where would Anne look for the ball? So this is a very standard test for humans' theory of mind capability, but this has been largely used to benchmark LLM's theory of mind capability recently. So something we're working on is how to integrate user perspectives into these theory of mind benchmarks for LLMs. Can we make the benchmark more interactive? Can we integrate user perspectives of LLM's theory of mind into this benchmark in certain ways? And so to summarize, my work mostly focused on designing adaptive and responsible AI systems by accounting human perspectives through this framework and approach of mutual theory of mind. And I want to thank the CBI for their generous support to enable me to continue to explore this direction of mutual theory of mind research. Thank you.
Thank you for a good talk. And I have a quick two questions. When I trying to apply the AI into the class, most students getting fast lose the interest if they didn't get the answer from the AI. So the first question is, what do you think the most important thing when we apply the AI for the classroom and to make a more good interaction between the students? And do you think your research about the theory of mind is really seems good? It's a mutual theory of mind can improve the students' trust to the AI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great question. We saw that a lot when we deploy AI in an online classroom. Is that like a lot of times students or even like everyday people in general, they don't know how to interact with AI. They don't know how to interpret AI. So I think that's where the power of mutual theory of mind comes in. Is that like I said at the beginning, in the first study that I presented, is that like if the AI can recognize that, oh, this is how the student sees me, and like they can provide some kind of intervention about like, no, I'm actually not your friend, or like I'm not actually as capable as your teacher, like what you're thinking. Then maybe like this kind of back and forth interactive conversation can help tune people's perceptions of AI into something that is more accurate, hopefully. Yeah.
Hi, Qiaosi. Thank you for the good talk. I have a clarification question. Most on the benchmark, the theory of mind benchmark. I'm wondering, like, what does it mean by bake the human perception into the benchmark?
Mm-hmm.
And build upon that, what do you mean by interactive benchmark?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like a new concept to me.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, so those are some ideas that we are exploring. So nothing very concrete yet. But right now what we're thinking is that like, right now the current practice of benchmarking LLM theory of mind is usually like putting LLM from a third person perspective to, ask LLM like, where would Sally look for her ball when she returned? So a lot of variations of tasks like this that put LLM as a third-person perspective. But from a user-centered perspective, it's more like when we think about machine learning models or AI models, the ultimate goal is to power user-facing AI applications. So, so maybe the users should be involved in evaluating how socially capable or like what level of theory of mind that LLM have, instead of like using these pre-existing tests that were originally designed to test for humans. So a more interactive benchmark is something that we're exploring, like maybe using some of the platform. I think there was a AI agent arena platform that allow people to interact with different models on that platform. So that's some options that we're exploring, and there are also like different simulated environment where they allow like human users to interact with different large language models. So I think there are definitely some potential there, and we're really excited to explore those directions.
Is this on? Yes. So I think you were pretty convincing in sort of laying out this idea that mutual theory of mind is a useful thing for human AI interactions, and especially so when the AI is sort of trying to be an assistant and trying to help the human as much as possible. I'm kind of wondering whether you guys have given some thought about how this also sounds like a really useful tool to have if you're deploying an AI with some sort of malicious intent. For example, an AI that is deployed to, say, bias a user's opinions about a specific product or about a specific idea, right? So what have you guys thought about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great question. So I think like when we equip AI with this kind of theory of mind capability, it's definitely a double-edged sword in terms of like there are a lot of convenience that it could bring, but there's also like a lot of other issues that could bring, like for example, theory of mind has been related also to our ability to lie to other people or to manipulate other people. So I think like that is one thing that we're trying to explore through this study with the UX practitioners, since they bring a more user-centered perspectives into the AI application design process. So we're trying to explore like what are some issues or like harms that UX practitioners could envision while they are trying to come up with theory of mind-enabled AI application features. And I think that would be a good starting point to explore the potential harms of AI theory of mind.
So maybe just a flip side of the previous question, right? So, I mean, we heard a talk from Zico this morning about how you need safety checks for LLMs. Could theory of mind be an answer to that, to actually model the safety checks? I mean, to actually infer the theory of mind behind, whoever's trying to avoid the safety guardrails, and actually utilize that to increase the safety. Has that been done, or could that be a potential direction of exploration?
Yeah, so I think that's a really promising direction, I would say, but I'm not super familiar with like AI model training process. Most of my work is focused on like user perspective AI applications. So I think that could be promising, but I'm not familiar with that body of literature. But I think like my opinion on that is that like even if you're able to implement different like guardrails or like safety checks using theory of mind, then when it comes to like when the models are used to power user-facing applications, users' behaviors are very difficult to predict. And we probably have seen like there are many like jailbreaking methods for LLM by the users. So I think like when it comes down to like the ultimate interaction between users and AI, I think this is still like a very interactive and iterative process where theory of mind can be leveraged to power some of the AI features to kind of align with users' need and the action instead of just focusing on the training phase. So I think like both parts are important to explore.
I guess one final question. One surprising thing to me has been the successful use of some of these systems for human-to-human moderation. So the idea is that two humans are interacting, and an AI system turns out to, in certain circumstances, be a pretty good moderator. Kind of seems like mutual theory of mind would apply very well in this case. Is this something you are pursuing or thinking about?
Yeah, I think in my earlier work, I definitely think about that along some similar lines. What we did earlier when I was doing my PhD at Georgia Tech is that we were exploring an AI agent that can facilitate the social interactions between students. So that's kind of like multi-party interaction where AI agent is in the middle facilitating the interaction between humans. But I think like when it comes to like the application of mutual theory of mind, I think definitely like there is something like AI facilitated human-human collaboration or AI facilitated team collaboration or like planning and things where mutual theory of mind could also be helpful. But then like the AI would need to have the power to like think in terms of like multiple people's mental states, which would be a technical challenge for sure.